So this video has taken me a while to start. For one, I went through a very difficult time before our journey ended on our homeless journey with the Lord. I was put through a Job testing that entailed witchcraft sent at me by a person who has been attacking me over and over for the past few years. And it was very traumatic. But here goes. God wants me to share my story. We had stayed in a couple of Airbnbs. And all of a sudden I started itching and feeling something crawling in my hair. And one day I saw a bug in my hair, and I looked it up and realized that it was lice. Everything just happened so quickly. Like one day I had one or two, and then suddenly I had dozens. And we were still living in the vehicle. And I decided to kind of wait and see if I could get a kit and get rid of them myself. However, it's not very easy to do that with just myself. My son obviously could not help me because he's only 8, and I had no one to help me really. So I waited a few more days, and as time went on, I realized that it was more than just a small infestation. I called a lice facility that is a professional lice removal place, and I explained to them what I was going through. They asked me if I could send a picture, and I did, and she said, yes, it's definitely head lice. And I set an appointment, and for whatever reason, they had to cancel on me. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was manifesting very rapidly. I would go to garages and shake my head off, try to get as many out as I possibly could, because I had reset the appointment and I was going to have to wait a few days for the next opportunity. I would shake my head, I would brush through it, I would try all kinds of things just to minimize the situation. And I mean, not even a few days later, I realized it was very bad. By the time I had gone to the subsequential appointment, it was just, they said, we're going to do what we can for you. And so the lady started combing through my hair, and her daughter was helping. It was a family-owned business. So the daughter was helping, and all of a sudden they stop and they said, "We can't proceed because you're bleeding from the scalp." And I was devastated because I was like, I have nowhere to turn to get help for this. And the lady really urged me to go to the hospital, to go to the ER, because she said that this was, there was a possibility of me getting an infection, and because of the bleeding, that I really needed medical attention. So I did as she said. I decided to go to the emergency room, and I waited and waited in the lobby area for hours, very uncomfortably. They asked me to, of course, cover my head, which I did. I would not wish this upon anyone, not even my worst enemy. They were everywhere. I had bugs everywhere in my hair. And when I finally got in, I waited in the room, and they basically took one look at me, did not even come close to my head, but they said, "I'm so sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. You just need to shave your hair." And I was like, "What do you mean there's nothing you can do for me? I'm sure you've seen cases like this before." And they said, "No, actually, it's very bad." Like, they had never seen anything like this come through there. So, again, I was just completely devastated. And felt hopeless. I began questioning God. Why am I going through this? What is going on? And he began revealing through different words, and also just confirmations that this was witchcraft, and that basically it had been allowed to test me, to test my faith, to test my willingness to serve him no matter what I would go through. And I cried. I cried out to God. I didn't know what I had done to deserve what I was going through. And it was a very, very difficult time for me. I couldn't go in anywhere. I would drive my son through just drive-throughs to get him food, because I was embarrassed and I didn't want to expose anyone else from getting infected. I would clean out the car daily, go and vacuum daily, just to try to minimize the infestation. Christian, come here!